ما وجدت في الكابتن في الذي أمامي فتحت الذي أمامي في جانب التمر ما First question. يتسنى. What type of حكم is here? أبا آدم.
هاء السكوت. هاء السكت.
هاء السكت? Okay. So it's not صلة, huh? It's not a type of صلة. What about هذه? So what's the definition of هاء الصلة? The هاء الصلة. صلة. What's the صلة? The صلة صغرى صلة كبرى, right? We studied صلة. What's the صلة?
The بدل.
Huh?
بدل.
الصلة. بدل is بدل. صلة is different.
Ibad.
Huh?
Ibad.
What's that?
صلة.
Let's hear it from مقصد. What's الصلة?
It comes between two moving letters.
What comes into between two moving letters? What?
Mad sila.
مد الصلة?
Yeah.
What is it?
The definition?
Yeah. What comes in two moving letters?
Ha.
Ha? Ha, that's right.
Yeah.
Ha comes.
It comes in two moving.
It's a ha. First of all, it's a ha.
Yeah.
And
it comes in between two moving letters.
That's right.
And then it's refers to singular, male, absent.
Perfect. One more thing you're missing. Aba Adam, because it's a tricky one. He said it's a ha.
Not from Asl.
Yeah, it's not original.
That's good.
It's not original.
One more thing is missing. So you guys said it's not an original ha.
Yeah.
Which comes between two moving letters, and it refers to absent, male,
singular.
Yeah. One more thing. Who gives me this? No. One more thing about the ha.
Okay. If the letter if the haraka before ha is maksura, then it's gonna be
Before the ha is maksura? No.
Oh no. If the ha is maksura.
Huh? Yeah, he already said that. It's ha refers to a singular, absent, male. It's called ha dhamir, pronoun.
Yeah.
But there's one more thing, one condition in general. The ha is, there's like something about ha. The person who gives me this point, the first person to get T. Huh? The following letter, it's Hamza, right?
You have to do it with muwasal.
It doesn't matter, Hamza or...
You have to continue reading.
Who gives me the first point is going to give the first cup. You have only 4 cups. 5 cups. So these are prizes now.
What's the question again?
Whoever answers.
What's the one? What's the question?
It comes with wow if it has a dhamma.
Okay, so it's ha, a pronoun, right? Refers to a pronoun that's absent, male, singular, and it's between two moving letters. And we have 2 types, the minor and the major.
Yeah.
The minor is, we know that the minor is if the following letter is not Hamza, and the major one is when the following letter is
Hamza.
Hamza. But there's one more thing. One more thing. The first person.
Everybody will get it.
One more thing, Abu Adam.
The smaller one, have to be two moves, and
The smaller one?
two moves, and the other one for 45.
It's something about that. So aniha basically, aniha. So you said it's the ha. The ha, as we said, it's not original. It refers to singular, absent, male, between two letters, moving letters. That's it. There's nothing special about the ha.
You mean like wajhi?
Huh?
Wajhi, right?
Come with that.
Like wajhi is not sila because
Yeah, you have to do the yeah if it's not maksura.
Ha. What?
It's at the end of the word.
It's right. It comes at the end of the word. That's right. That's one more point we add. But there's one more condition.
Come with the letter of
That
month.
we already mentioned. Yeah, we mentioned that. I think I'm gonna give the first cup. I'm gonna give the first cup myself.
You have to continue reading. If you stop reading, there's no
That's right.
extra points.
The ha itself has to be متحركة. The ha is متحركة, not ساكن. Come on, that's one of the conditions.
I was about
the
to
general
say
condition ha is متحرك, not ساكن.
I was about to say that, but you see,
You did not.
confused
Okay,
me.
so the ha has to be متحرك. Because if the ha is ساكن, if everything complies to the definition and the ha is ساكن, خلاص, it's
Yeah.
gone. It's not يعني صلاة anymore. And why do we see wow and yeah sometimes rather than
What is that?
why do we see yeah and sometimes we see wow after the yeah?
Wow, yeah. it makes sense.
There's a word of month, letter of month.
Yeah, why? Why do we see the wow and sometimes?
Because that previous letter has a dhamma, then vav, or kasra, then ya.
If what?
The letter before, I think.
No, you see, you're not getting it.
Second cup.
It doesn't have anything to do with before or after.
It's up. Ha, it's up.
If the ha
Is maksura.
maksura,
Right.
Then
Then vav. Then ya. And
then yeah comes after.
yeah, then dhamma, then vav.
And if the wow is mahmuma,
Then that's
It's wow.
vav.
then it's wow. What type of mud? Aba Samara. You see, Abdul Nasser is serving you, so he doesn't want me to ask him. He's trying to avoid the questions. هذا ما نوع المد? What type of mud? صلاة minor or major? Read it. أبا سماع.
يعلمه الله.
Minor or major? Think about it. Major or minor? Huh?
Minor.
It's minor. Do you agree with him, Amir, or
Yeah.
he said it's minor? Do you support him, minor or major? What's the minor? The minor salah. Because sometimes
always
people they
him,
agree on something. And
No, I never.
what's the minor salah?
That's small. You touch about two moves.
Listen to Maqsad. What's the minor?
Minus salah is without hamza.
The ha comes between two moving letters, and The second moving letter, you have ha, and there's a letter before it and a letter behind it. The letter that comes behind it has to be any letter except except hamza. If it's any letter except hamza, that's minor. If it's hamza, that's major. So this one, Abu Samara said it's minor. Do you agree with him? Is it minor or major?
It's major, I think.
You make up your mind. Do not look at me. Minor or major?
Minor.
Minor. Abadi. Is it minor or major?
No. There is no hamza.
He said no hamza. What's the major?
Major.
What's with hamza? What is it? Explain it.
We have
I'm going to explain it one more time. Focus with me. Ha. I'm the ha. There's a letter behind me and there's a letter before me. The letter before me doesn't matter. Hamza, any other letter. So what decides or determines the type of salah, if minor or major? The letter that comes after me. If it's hamza, the moving following letter, if it's hamza, it's major. If it's not hamza, any other letter, it's minor. That's it. So what determines the type of the salah? The letter that comes after the ha.
And Hamza got al-wasl.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, now it's major.
It's major.
Yeah.
It's Dhamma.
Huh?
يعلمه.
So he said it's major, and you said it's
Minor.
minor. Major or minor? Make up your mind.
It's neither.
It's neither of them.
Come on, Abu Adam. He ruined it. Abu Adam, he said, it's neither. It's none of them.
Yeah.
Why?
There's no
Because the condition is ha madmuma, or like ha mutaharrika moving, could be dhamma, kasra, fatha. Ha. We have the ha. And it has to be between two moving letters.
Yeah.
So it's not.
The first one is moving before it. The second one is second. The lam is second. So the second one is not even moving.
Yeah.
So it's not even salah. It's not minor or major. You see that? You pay attention to that. It's neither. None of them. طيب, here. You have here. فيه هدى. Right now, the letter behind, it is, mashallah, moving right now. It's moving. The letter behind it is moving. The ha is moving. And this ha is moving.
Maksura.
Maksura. So, what is it, Abu Ali?
Same thing.
What do you mean same thing? The letter behind it is moving.
Yeah. So it'll be.
This one is not minor, none of them.
Yeah.
Not minor, not major, because the following letter is sakin, the lam. Because this alif, this hamza, it's hamzat wasl. So you don't read it at all when you continue. You imagine it's not there. Because if you continue, you say ya'lamhu, ya'lamhul. You jump to the lam directly. So the next letter is sakin, so it's not major, it's not minor. Right now you have this letter behind the ha, it's moving. Minor or major, Aba Samara? Abu Ali said it's minor. Umayr?
None.
None? Why?
There's no Hamza there.
There's no Hamza. Hamza, if the Hamza comes here, that's major. So is this major or minor?
Special case.
Abdul Nasser, what is it? The letter before the ha, does it have harakat or nothing? Which harakat does it have? Aliyah. Sukun. And the condition to have sila, either minor or major, the ha is located
Between
between two moving letters. But this one is sakin.
Right.
So none of them.
Right.
Yeah, so you have to think not about the. Don't focus on the hamza. If the hamza comes here and it's moving, and the letter here is moving, and the ha is moving, then it's major salah.
Right.
If all of them, the three, 1, 2, 3, are moving, and this letter is hamza, then that's major. We explained that. And right now, if the three are moving and this letter is not hamza, it's minor. But right now, this letter is sakin, so it does not comply to the definition of the madd as-sila. Right now, خلاص. عمر, or like مقصد, you were stuck with me. I think, yeah. Here you go. Right now, this example is so beautiful. It's so easy. خلاص, it's easy. Look at the ha. Jim is مكسورة or مفتوحة. مكسورة.
مكسورة, yeah.
And the next letter behind it is.
مفتوح.
So it's moving.
Yeah.
They're both moving. Is it minor? Is there hamza after the ha? Is it minor or major?
None of them.
Why?
Because ha is sukun.
That's right. You got that trick. Ha is sakin. Ha doesn't have any fatha. You see, sometimes you have the letter before it is moving, the next letter is moving, it's good, but the ha is sakina. So it's not salah. It's not salah at all. It's not mad. And okay, so we said basically. Let me erase this. We said mad as-salah. The ha, the pronoun. The ha refers to Muhammad. Refers to the ha.
Someone is not here.
Someone is not here, and
Singular.
singular. Anybody? Like
Male and
a cat, a camel, a dog,
male.
A human being.
human being.
Yeah.
Like an old lady. If she's not here, we can use that ha.
Masculine.
So you have to mention those. Okay. So,
It doesn't have to be human.
huh?
It doesn't have to be human.
It doesn't have to be human being.
Fihi huda is not.
That's
It's
right.
just masculine.
Masculine, yeah.
Because fihi huda is for the no, it's not the happen, but you know, I mean
Yeah, it doesn't have
the
to be.
fihi is for the hadam.
So it could be male. Like in the Quran, basically it refers to most of the time to like like human beings. But outside you can use it without like for anything other than human beings.
Outside, you don't have to stretch it, right?
Huh?
Outside, you don't have to stretch it.
Absolutely. If you want to look perfect, that's fine.
I mean, like all the examples are like
That's
From
right.
Quran.
They're not.
they're not human.
They're not human. But most of the time you only see a little bit of non-human things.
Yeah.
But most of the time in the Quran, it
Could be
refers to.
things.
Yes.
Could be things.
Okay. So, Abdul Nasser. هذه ناقة لها شرب ولكم شرب. Is it متصلة? Define the ha. Define the مد الصلة.
هذه لا تمد في كل الرباعات.
هذه what?
لا تمد.
لا تمد. Why? What condition did it break?
Part of the word.
Part of the word?
Yeah, هذه.
That's cool.
That's the original word.
هذا مؤنث not
Huh?
هذا female not أربعة.
So that's the condition that it broke, right? So it's not mad. Is it minor or major?
Not neither.
Do you agree with him? Huh?
Special case.
Do you agree with him?
A special case.
Is it minor or major?
It's none of those. Special
None of
case.
those. I want you. Even Abu Adam, he lost this case. Check your notes. Did you take a picture of it?
Yeah, it's referred to me female, but treated like Hamza possible. It's not Hamza.
So it's wasl.
It was, but
It's
it's not like that, but it's not.
Yes. It's Hamza. Not Hamza.
Not Mad was.
It's Sila. Mad Sila.
It's not. Yeah.
So what type of Sila? It is a type of Sila. What type of Sila?
So.
It's a minor. It's a minor Sila. It's a minor type. We spoke about هذه. I think you have it in your notes. هذه, it's a female, refers to a female, but it's the only case that's considered like صلة. It's a type of صلة, and it broke one of the rules. Like, one of the rules has to be like referring to an absent male, but this one is referring to a present female. But the Arab, they treat it as mad صلة. And the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he recited the Quran, the Sahaba, the narrations, they treated this case as mad صلة. So this is the only case that's treated as salah, but it does not comply to the definition of the ha salah. So it's mad salah basically. So tonight, inshallah, it's gonna be like a very easy and simple problem, inshallah. Yeah, there's more to it. Somebody wants to start it?
Somebody want more tea?
Do you want me to share the link with the group or?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
So today we are going to study al-mad al-lazim. Al-mad al-lazim.
Sometimes recommended that you store it in horizontal position when you're not using it.
I thought like the ink should go down.
That's vertical. That's when you're using it. This is good. Yeah, but those ones, it's supposed to, if you're not using them, make them should be like this. So you don't run.
Is there anything missing after comes? It comes.
Huh?
It is after comes. Anything missing? I don't know.
No, it's correct.
It is like the med.
When
It is when the letter
med
of med comes.
what?
It is when the letter of med comes, and the following letter is a second letter.
It's okay. So okay.
So the med of letter comes, and then the following letter has to be second. Either you continue or you stop. It's original second. Finished? So, this one I want you to pay attention to it because it's easy, but it has 4 types and they look alike. So if you think about al-mad al-lazim, it's lazim. You know, the lazim, it's an order word too, right? Lazim. Lazim means you have to do it. You cannot escape it. You don't have an option, right? That's mad lazim. And if you look at the definition, it says it is a mad that happens when the letter of mad comes. So the first condition, a letter of mad. And then the following letter to the letter of the mad is sakin. And this sukoon is an original sukoon, sakin asli. What does it mean? You know, sometimes some of the letters that when we recite some words and we stop, some of the letters, they have harakat. And when we stop, we make sukoon, we put sukoon. That sukoon, when you stop, it's like not original, an original. So it's not asli. So you see that? So if you recite something and then the letter has haraka and then you stop and you put the sukoon, that sukoon is not original. So this mad lazim, the letter that comes after the letter of the mad is sakin and the sukoon is asli. Either you continue or you stop, it's sakin. The sukoon did not happen because you stopped.
It has been end of the ayah.
It's there. It's part of the original word. It's there. So the letter that comes after the letter of the mad, it's sakin, sukoon, asli. Asli means like original. And they said lazim because you have to stretch it 6 harakat. You cannot escape it. You have to do it 6 harakat, okay? And then, if you look here, the types you have harf in letters, and kalimi in kalima in words, right? Harfi and kalimi, and then the harfi comes into two types: mukhaffaf, easy, diluted, and muthaqqal, thaqil, heavy. And same thing in kalimi, it comes mukhaffaf and muthaqqal, diluted and heavy. And right now, you see, we are going to study the harfi. That's why I want you to pay attention, because I don't want you to confuse the whole thing. So I'm going to start with the harfi only, the harfi. Okay, inshallah? So I'm going to erase this, the kalimi. And then I'm going to explain only the harfi, inshallah. So the harfi, basically, the reason why it's called in harf, if you can write down that next to the harfi, if you wrote the harfi and then the types under it, just put next to the harfi. The reason for the name, it is called mad lazim, like a must, mad harfi. It's named harfi because, there you go. Lean. If you remember the lean. And sukoon. it's a little bit tricky. I want you to focus on those three words. It is called harfi because the letter of mad and the lean and the sukoon come in one letter when we break down the letter. Like, for example, what I mean by this sentence, watch, I'm gonna explain it in details. What type of harf? What's the name of this harf? Ha. But if you break it down, how do you write it down? You write it down this way. Okay? That's alif sakin, and that's how you break it down. That's how you write it. You see that? Like, you know, for example, what's this letter?
Meme.
But this is the way how you break it down. You see some of the letters in Arabic, when you break them down, they only have 2 letters. And some of them, they have what? 3 letters. You see that? Meme. Huh? And so on and so forth. That's how we gonna break down the letters. So we are going to study the letters ha, jim, like da. But when we focus on the mudud, we are not going to just look from outside. We are going into like inside the letter. For example, if you have ta, sin, you have sometimes you have ta, sin, mim. When you determine the mad, you break it, ta, and then sin, and then mim. Then after that you will find out what type of mad you have. Okay, inshallah. And I'm going to explain it right now in details, inshallah. There you go. Okay, so that's the harfi. We are going to study right now the al-harfi al-mukhaffaf. Al-harfi al-mukhaffaf. I'm going to read it in Arabic if you want to write that in Arabic. هو أن يأتي بعد حرف المد حرف ساكن فقط غير مدغم فيما بعده وهجاؤه 3 أحرف أوسطها حرف مد كما أوسطها حرف مد. Did you write that in Arabic? Okay. I'm going to write down the definition of that حرف مخفف. حرف مخفف المد اللازم المد اللازم this type of mud in general it is the toughest and hardest mud in Tajweed. Not because it's hard, it is just because it has so many types and conditions. For example, if you look at the definition of the mukhaffaf, al-harf al-mukhaffaf, it is when a second letter, it happens basically, when a second letter comes after the letter of mad. So you have a letter of mad, that's one condition, a letter of mad. And then a second letter comes after the letter of mad. And the second letter, it's not mixed idgham. You know the idgham when we studied idgham, mergent idgham. It's not mixed with the letter that comes after it. There is no idgham. And the second letter contains 3 letters when you break it down, the way we broke down the letters. And the middle letter, when you break it down, is a letter of mad. You see how many conditions? You see that? For example, like meme, meme. If you break the letter meme, break it down, 3 letters, right? And then hamim, second letter, look, hamim. Just focus on this. If you understand this example, I'm gonna give you so many examples. So the second letter, hamim, sometimes you see it, hamim. You think this is second, but it's not second, there's mad. Second. If you stop, hamim, second, right? You think it's second. So when a second letter comes after the letter of mad, where's the letter of mad here? There's no letter of mad. You break the ha, and then you break the meme, ha, meme. When a second letter comes after the letter of mad, a second letter, hamim, and it's not mixed, meme, comes after, and the second letter contains 3 letters. I think I'm gonna give you another example. Breaks down, and the middle of the, you see when we broke down this noon, let me use this for now. You see when we broke down the meme, what's the middle? Yeah. Ya sakin, and the letter before it is maksur. That's the condition for the ya to be a letter of mad. Ya sakin, and the letter before it is maksur. That's, you see, we broke the meme, we broke it down, and it happens to have 3 letters, and the middle is a letter of mad. Because if the ya is not sakin, it's not a letter of mad. But imagine if the ya is sakin and the letter before it is not maksur. It's not a letter of mad. So it has to be sakin and the letter before it is maksur. Then that's the letter of mad. And okay, let me give you like some more explanations, then I will move to the examples. For example, if you see مثلا الميم, ميم, ألف, لام, ميم. You stretch the meme. How many moves do you stretch the meme? 6 letters. The meme, 6 moves. And That's how I'm gonna break it down for you. ألف لام ميم. That's how you write it down. So it is stretched 6 harakat. And if you think about the meme here, if you read it, alif, is there like harf mad in the middle? In the word alif, this is alif. You break it down. Does it have any letter of mad? It doesn't have any letter of mad. Lam, does it have any letter of mad? Are you sure? Think about it. Look at it.
Alif.
Does it have any letter of mad?
What?
The lam.
Alif.
Alif.
Alif in the middle. Huh?
Alif, lam, mim.
And then you break down the meme.
Yeah.
The ya. You break them down and here. Alif sakin and the letter before it has fatha. Ya sakin, the letter before it
مكسورة.
has kasra. And this one is
Sam.
sakin. Alif lam mim. What's the definition of the idgham? Do you know
The second letter.
Do you remember the definition of the idgham? Yeah. What's the definition like of the idgham? It is a connection between two letters. The first one is sakin, right? The first one is sakin, and are you sure, or the second one is sakin?
The first one is sakin.
The first one is sakin, and the second one is.
sakin now.
Moving.
Give me an example for the idgham.
Mim ba'd.
No, that's not idgham.
Taqlab.
That's iqlab. Give me an example for the idgham.
لام ميم.
Yeah,
لام ميم.
that's right. But let me give you another example.
وهم من بعده.
No, give me like an easy,
مم
the one that we studied.
مما يعلمون.
Huh?
من
متمر-
ناصر.
Give me noon and then the ya after it.
من ناصر.
من ناصر. That's متماثلان. من نصير. من نصير. نون and نون متماثلان.
يعمل.
من يعمل. That's right. That's idgham. صراطا صراطا نون and then مستقيم. صراطا مستقيما. That's right. So if you look here, you have alif mad. You don't have it in there. Alif lam. Well, how do you know you stretch the lam? You don't know that you stretch the lam. But because you break down the lam, and when you break it down, there's an alif. And alif is second, and the letter before it has fatha. Then you stretch it. Alif, there's no mad. Alif, lam, mim. 6 and 6. But you don't see alif or a letter of mad in here. You see, because the lam is harf. Lam itself, it's harf. That's why it's called harfi mukhaffaf. Harf. And if you break it down, why it's mukhaffaf? Because there's no shadda. There's no tashdeed. There's no shadda in any of them when you break them down. Lam. Because we will have some examples in the future. When you break them down, some of the letters, they have shadda and tafkheen and ista'la. So this one is mukhaffaf, easy. Lam, you don't say No, it's lam. And the middle letter is alif, and you stretch it. But if you just read it as it is, as it is written, you know how you read it. You say alam. That's how you read it basically. But that's not how you read it, because it's huruf muqatta'a. What do we know about this huruf muqatta'a? Allahu a'lam. We don't know anything about this huruf muqatta'a. It's i'jaz. But what we get from this huruf muqatta'a, as the Imam al-Shatibi said, we believe in what came with them. Like, you know, it's like kind of a swearing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has some types of meanings that Rasulullah he recited these letters, alif lam mim, and it has some meanings, but us we don't know them. But it came at the beginning as for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, was-sama'i wat-tariq. And if you read it just as it is, you read it alam, and that's not right. But because of the narrations, imagine if we don't have people listen to the Prophet ﷺ and they transmitted the Quran to us, and somebody gave us the book, we would, if I look at the Quran, alam, tasam, tasim, mim, ka'ayas, that doesn't make any sense. So Rasulullah ﷺ recited these letters with a special way, and we copy them until today, subhanallah. And another examples, I'm going to give you different examples here. Surah Qaf, if you can open Surah Qaf if you want, or if you know the beginning of Surah Qaf. Surah Qaf. Look, why do we stretch the Qaf? Sometimes you see this haraka, this sign. Surah Sad. والواو في سورة نون, as you said, أبا آدم. Yes, it's a different type. We are going to explain inshallah. Huh? You see sometimes? Huh? You see the sign, right? Do you see the sign on top of the noon, the sad, the qaf? Qaf is not a letter of med. What do they mean by that? So right now we know basically, we know that we have 3 letters of med. Alif, waw, ya, and they have conditions. Waw is second and the letter before it is madmoon. That's a letter of med. Ya is second, the letter before it is maksur. Alif is second, the letter before it is maftuh, right? But imagine you see the qaf, you see the letter qaf and you see the stretch sign. Why do you see it? Why do you see the stretch sign? It's not like a letter of med, but it's a letter of med. Why? Break it down. You see how I broke it down? The alif is there. Huh? You see this? Alif is here. Sakin. And then alif is there. Waw is sakin. Huh? Right now, this is a letter of med, a letter of med, a letter of med. Yes, and it's like controversial. But we can put, what is it, how do you say it?
Yes.
Controversial? It's like, people they dispute about, but we can put it here. And then we can include it also in the other types. Surah Yasin. Sometimes you see the stretch on top of the sin. Sin is not like a letter of med. But if you break it down, ya, sin, ya sakina, and the letter before it is maksur, right? Huh?
Yeah, very good, excellent.
Because have you wondered why
Yeah.
you were seeing like this sign on top of the qaf? Why the qaf is not like we cannot stretch the qaf? But if you break it down, the middle letter is half mad. Why don't we, when we have ha mim, why don't we stretch ha? Why? The condition here.
Because it doesn't have a sukun letter.
It has to have three letters.
Three letters.
Because you have ha-mim, right? You see the word, the letters ha-mim at the beginning of some surahs, right? I put them in here. I wrote everything in here for you. I'm gonna give you this paper at the end. So ha-mim, you say ha-mim. We're stretching the mim. We're not stretching ha. Because if you break down the ha, you break it only in two letters. Ha and alif. Ha. Two letters, you cannot stretch it. When do you stretch these letters when they come at the beginning of the surah? When you break them down and they come in three letters. Ha in 2 letters, and then mim and 6 letters. So you have to do 6 letters. I'm trying just to finish the harfi mukhaffaf, because it's very complicated in here, but I'm trying to make it easy, inshallah. And it's called mukhaffaf, harfi mukhaffaf. Pay attention. This is so easy. Because the letter that comes after the letter of mad, it's sakin mukhaffaf. It's not mushaddad. I want you to give this point. The letter that comes after the mad, this is the letter of mad, right? The letter that comes after it, it's sakin, qaf, khafif. It doesn't have shadda. If the letter that comes after the letter of mad is sakin and doesn't have shadda, that's diluted, khafif. You get that, Adam? The letter that comes after the mad is sakin with no shadda. That's the reason it's called mukhaffaf.
Any difference?
Yeah?
Any difference in reading them?
Yes, that's muthaqqal, another
But then when you talk about this, is it still 6 harakat?
6 harakat, but it's different cases, like different rules.
Rule,
It should have be sukun or can be the letter. Should be sukun or can be also
Sukun.
only sukun or fatha or dhamma.
Sakin. This letter is sakin, right?
They said it's not mashaddad.
It's not mushaddad, sakin.
What's sakin?
Sakin.
Okay.
That means it's khafif, sakin khafif. So let's apply the condition. Let's try to apply the condition, because I tried to put all conditions in one condition, in one definition. When a sakin letter comes after the letter of mad, okay, and it's not mixed. Qaf. The next ayah, if you read it, Qaf wal Quran. Wal. Qaf wal. Right? Surah Qaf. Qaf wal Quran. So you have Qaf wal Quran al Majid. Wal. A second letter comes after the letter of mad, and it's not mudgham. You cannot mix between the fa and the wa. You cannot mix between them. with the letter that comes after it. Yeah, there's no idgham. And the second letter contains 3 letters. The second letter, you break it down, the qaf. It comes in 3 letters. Qaf contains 3 letters. We break it down. And the middle letter is a letter of mad. When you break the qaf, you break it. It has 3 letters, and the letter of mad is in the middle. And the last letter, the last one, is not idgham. So let's make it easy, just to summarize it. You have this letter. Basically, it's sakin, right? The letter itself, at the beginning of any surah, it's sakin. Originally, it's sakin. Qaf. Do you say qu, qi, qa? It's qaf. Sakin, huh? You break it down. The one in the middle, it's harf mad. The one at the end is not mixed. And it comes in 3 letters. That's harf mukhaffaf. That's it. Noon. Noon, sakin. It's basically, if you look at it by itself at the beginning of the surah, it's a sakin letter. It doesn't have any haraka. Noon, wal. Noon, wal. qalami wa ma yasturun. Noon. Mukhaffaf means there's no shadda in here. You break down the noon to 3 letters. The last letter after the waw, this noon, you don't mix it with the letter that comes after it. You don't say noon qalami wa ma yasturun. You know the idgham, if the waw comes after the noon, we mix them. You know that, right? The grammar. We are going to study that, inshallah. The original, like idgham, yarmilun. Huh? Miwal. Minwal. How do you say it? Miwal. But how do you say this? You don't make idgham. Noon wal. Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun. You pronounce the noon. Even if it's sakina and the letter after it is waw. It's the letter noon sakin and the letter of waw comes after it. It's idgham. But we don't make idgham here. Because it's not mixed. You don't mix it. So how do you say it? Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun. You stop. If you want to continue. Noon wal qalami wa ma yasturun. You pronounce the noon completely. You don't mix it, subhanallah. That's how Rasulullah pronounced it. Why? If you mix them, try to mix it, yalla. Try Aba Adam. Yalla. Doesn't work, right? It's hard, huh? If you say no, you basically ruined everything.
Ruined the noon.
Same thing with all the surahs. I gathered all the ahkam for al-harf al-mukhaffaf. I'm going to put them in the back here. Or let me just erase that and I'm gonna put it in there. So basically right now, do not forget, if you see any letters that, come at the beginning of the surah, of any surah, do not judge the letter by looking at the letter, the mad. Do not think about the mad by looking at the letter. Break down the letter, and if it has a letter of mad in the middle, then that's harfi mukhaffaf.
What's lean? What's lean?
There's some examples. I'm going
What's
to.
that use the letter of med and lean and the sukun coming
Lean here, mukhaffafa means. But there's like also the hukm of lean, the ya sakin and the maftuh ma qablaha. and واو ساكن مفتوح ما قبلها. We have some examples inshallah coming. So lean here in this definition could be مخففة and could be the mad of lean itself. And we are going to go over that inshallah. I don't want to confuse you with so many stuff inshallah. So I'm going to give you all the examples of حروف مقطعة. How do you say that حروف مقطعة in English? الحروف المقطعة.
Disconnected.
الحروف المقطعة. The disconnected letters. these are all the examples that you will see in the Quran. I want you to write this down, inshallah, because right now, what we just did, it's just kind of an introduction.
Where is Yasin?
Huh?
Yasin.
Yasin, you can add it, inshallah, if I forgot it.
Oh, okay.
You can
It's
add it.
controversial.
Because some of them, they consider it different mid.
Oh,
But you can add it if you want.
Let's say on the bottom.
So basically, usually the introduction, it's sometimes it is harder than the topic itself.
But tonight we're just gonna do introduction.
We're done with the introduction.
We're just gonna do that. We're done for tonight?
We're done for the introduction.
For tonight.
But next time, what we're gonna do, is we are going to explain these in details, because they have so many rules. Like, we have some of these letters are not basic. You're not supposed to stretch them whatsoever. Some of these letters are not supposed to be stretched. That's the first type we are going to study, and I'm going to tell you what they are. I summarized everything to make it easy. So you just know that, yani, you don't need to memorize them, but if I give you like alif, lam, mim, sad, you know what do you do with it. So the first type is, some of these letters we're going to study are not supposed to be stretched at all. And you just, and some of them, you stretch only the primary mad, 2 harakat. So the first one, you don't stretch at all. The second type is you stretch them mad tabi'i, the natural mad, right? 2 harakat. The third letter, the third type, that's the people they dispute about. So it is like 6 harakat. 6 harakat. And we're going to study the first one, the letters that are not stretched, and then the letters are that you can stretch for just 2 harakat. And then after that, we are going to study the letters that are being disputed about. Like some of them they say 6, some of them, how do you connect? Some of them they say, some of the Qurra, they connect some of the letters when you jump from the Alif Lam Mim Dhalika. So Alif Lam Mim Dhalika. They connect, and they connect them with harakat. So they are, some of them, subhanAllah, because we have different qira'at, some of them they say, no, it's okay to connect these letters, the last letter with the beginning of the next ayah. Some of them they say, no, you have to make sukoon and then jump, even if you continue. So inshallah, it's going to be easy. The introduction is kind of confusing a little bit, but we are going to just take them piece by piece, inshallah. Inshallah.